Have you ever wondered how businesses survive in the face of unexpected crises? So, what's the secret sauce here? It's something called crisis management, a skill that can literally make or break a business. But what does it actually mean? Well, it's all about how a company responds to a sudden emergency situation. It's about making quick, smart decisions under pressure to save the day. Let's dive into a real-world example to illustrate this: the Johnson & Johnson's Tylenol crisis back in 1982. Here's the scene. 7 people died after consuming Tylenol capsules that had been laced with cyanide. An absolute nightmare, right? But the way Johnson & Johnson handled the situation is a textbook example of effective crisis management. First off, they acted swiftly. They didn't waste time pondering or pointing fingers. Instead, they pulled approximately 31 million bottles of Tylenol from the shelves. That's a move that cost them over $100 million. Then, they were transparent. They didn't try to hide the issue or downplay it. They held press conferences, made public statements, and kept everyone informed about what was happening and what they were doing about it. But most importantly, they prioritized customer safety over profits. They could have just recalled the affected batches, but they chose to recall all Tylenol capsules to ensure that not a single other person would be at risk. And the result? Well, despite the initial financial blow, Johnson & Johnson managed to rebuild public trust and save their brand. In fact, just a year later, Tylenol was back as the top-selling over-the-counter analgesic in the United States. So as we can see, crisis management is not just about dealing with the crisis. It's about preserving the company's reputation and maintaining public trust. It's about demonstrating that the company values its customers and is willing to do whatever it takes to keep them safe. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the true essence of effective crisis management. As we can see, crisis management is not just about dealing with the crisis, but also about preserving the company's reputation and maintaining public trust. Change is inevitable, but how does one lead change within an organization? Let's dive into the case study of IBM's transformation under CEO Lou Gerstner. Gerstner spearheaded one of the most significant turnarounds in corporate history. When he took the reins in 1993, IBM was a hardware company on the verge of bankruptcy. Yet, within a decade, IBM had transformed into a services and technology giant, leading the industry. So, how did Gerstner lead this change? The first thing he did was create a clear vision. He envisioned IBM as a company that would provide integrated solutions to customers, rather than just selling hardware. This vision was a significant shift from IBM's previous focus, but Gerstner believed it was the best way forward. But having a vision is not enough. You must communicate it effectively. Gerstner understood this and ensured that everyone within IBM, from the top executives to the junior employees, understood the new direction. He used every opportunity he had to communicate the vision, making sure it was embedded in the company's DNA. However, effective communication is only half the battle. The other half is getting your employees involved in the change process. Gerstner knew that people are more likely to support a change if they feel they have a stake in it. So, he made sure to involve his employees in the transformation process, soliciting their ideas and input, and giving them a sense of ownership in the change. Leading change, as demonstrated by Gerstner's experience, is not just about making decisions from the top. It's about creating a clear vision, communicating it effectively, and involving your employees in the process. It's about understanding that change is not just about the destination, but also about the journey. Leading change is not an easy task, but with the right strategies and approach, one can successfully navigate through it. How can businesses prepare for crises? The answer lies in risk assessment. Risk assessment, a vital element of crisis management, is a systematic process of identifying potential hazards and analyzing or evaluating the risks associated with those hazards. But what happens when risk assessment is overlooked? Let's look at a real-life example. In 2009, Toyota, the world-renowned automaker, faced a crisis that shook its reputation. A massive recall of vehicles due to a safety issue led to a crisis that could have been mitigated with proper risk assessment. Toyota's crisis was not just about the recall of millions of vehicles. It was also about how the company handled the situation. They were slow to respond, and when they did, their messages lacked transparency. This resulted in a loss of trust among consumers, a drop in sales, and a tarnished reputation. Imagine if Toyota had a proper risk assessment in place. They could have identified the potential for such a safety issue and taken measures to prevent it. Furthermore, a robust crisis management plan could have guided them to respond swiftly and transparently, preventing further damage. So how can businesses learn from Toyota's experience? Well, the first step is to recognize that every business, irrespective of its size or industry, is vulnerable to crises. Therefore, risk assessment should be a continuous process, not a one-time event. It should be integrated into the daily operations of a business, helping to identify risks early and take preventive measures. Secondly, a good risk assessment should involve all stakeholders. This includes not only the management team, but also employees, suppliers, customers, and even the community. By involving all stakeholders, a business can get a holistic view of potential risks and devise comprehensive strategies to manage them. Lastly, risk assessment should lead to action. Identifying risks is not enough. Businesses need to act on the findings of their risk assessments, implementing measures to mitigate risks, and planning for potential crises. Risk assessment is a crucial part of crisis management. It helps businesses anticipate potential crises and prepare for them. In today's world, corporate social responsibility is not just a buzzword, it's a business imperative. It's a concept that goes beyond the traditional business model, pushing companies to consider their impact on society and the environment. It's about creating a balance between profitability and sustainable practices, proving that businesses can indeed be a force for good. Let's take a look at Unilever's Sustainable Living Plan as an example. Unilever, a multinational consumer goods company, has made a bold commitment to making sustainable living commonplace. This strategy is not just a side project, it is integrated into their core business model. They aim to double their size while reducing their environmental footprint and increasing their positive social impact. Through this plan, Unilever has committed to sourcing 100% of their agricultural raw materials sustainably, helping more than 1 billion people improve their health and hygiene, and enhancing the livelihoods of millions of people as they grow their business. The result? A boost in their brand reputation and an increase in customer loyalty. Consumers are becoming more conscious of their purchasing power and are choosing to support businesses that align with their values. In Unilever's case, their commitment to sustainability has not only made them a leader in their industry, but it has also created a loyal customer base who appreciates their efforts in making the world a better place. But the benefits don't stop there. By taking a proactive approach to corporate social responsibility, Unilever is also mitigating potential risks. They are preparing for a future where resources might be scarce, where regulations might be stricter, and where the demand for transparency from consumers might be higher. So, you see, corporate social responsibility is not just about doing good. It goes beyond philanthropy and compliance. It's about integrating sustainable practices into the core of your business. It's about understanding the interconnectedness of our world and making decisions that benefit not just your company, but society as a whole. Corporate social responsibility is not just about doing good. It's about doing well by doing good. We've covered a lot of ground today, from crisis management to leading change to corporate social responsibility. Let's take a moment to revisit some of the key points we've discussed. First, we delved into the intricacies of crisis management. We underlined that in the unpredictable and volatile world of business, crises are inevitable. However, what truly matters is how an organization responds to them. Effective crisis management is a must-have skill that involves swift decision-making, clear communication, and the ability to keep a cool head under pressure. Next, we touched on the importance of leading change within an organization. We explored how creating an environment for innovation and creativity is vital to driving continuous improvement. Leaders must not only be open to change but actively seek it out, establishing the value of new ideas and initiatives. This proactive approach to change is what enables organizations to stay ahead of the curve and maintain a competitive edge. Our discussion then moved to risk assessment in the context of crisis management. We emphasized that assessing risks and opportunities in a crisis situation isn't just about damage control. It's about turning potential threats into avenues for growth. By understanding the potential impacts and outcomes, leaders can make informed decisions that not only mitigate risks, but also capitalize on hidden opportunities. Finally, we turned our attention to corporate social responsibility, governance, and regulatory compliance. In today's business world, it's not enough to just be profitable. Organizations must also operate in a manner that is ethical, sustainable, and socially responsible. This commitment to doing good while doing well is crucial for maintaining public trust and ensuring long-term success. In essence, the ability to lead and respond effectively to crises, to drive change, and to uphold high ethical standards is what sets successful businesses apart. It's a complex blend of skills and attitudes that requires constant learning and adaptation. Remember, in the face of crisis, change, or societal expectations, the ability to lead and respond effectively is what sets successful businesses apart.